Hello, this is Bob Nozet from The Scene Online, and this is a training video on the basics of how to change the content of your group homepage and the group events page. Before we get started, you must be signed in before you can work on your groups pages. If you're already signed in, you'll see your sign-in name here in the upper right-hand corner of the page, just as my name is showing here. If you have forgotten how to sign in, click on the Sign Up Instructions tab located at the top of the page here. Looking at the website's homepage, the content on this part of the page is likely to be different each time you look at it, but it will have no effect on the procedures. Let's get started by finding your group. Okay, so click on the Groups tab located at the top of the page, and now you're on the page that shows all of the groups in this area here. The items along the sides on the left and on the right sides here, and sometimes on the top of the page are likely to change from time to time, but again, this will have no effect on your procedures. One way to find your group is to just look down the list until you spot your group, either by its group name or possibly by a group image that will be here to make it easier to find this group. This may be a bit of a task because, as you can see here, we have pages of these things that you want to flip through, and they're in no particular order. You can make this task a bit easier by sorting the groups alphabetically. Click here where it says Sort By, and you'll see that you can sort the list of groups by most members, created date, name, or latest activity. When you click on Name, it gives you an alphabetic list, making it easier to find your group. You can see here they're now in alphabetical order. Another way to find your group is to reduce the number of groups that show up on this page. In the top left of the Groups page, there is an option to show all groups, my groups, or featured groups. Right now, we have all groups showing. If you click on Featured Groups, you'll see whatever groups happen to be featured at the time. When you click on My Groups, it shows all of only the groups that you are the administrator of. If you are the administrator of only one group, then only that one group will show up. The system knows what groups are yours because you are signed in up here. Note that our sample group is called Cats1 and that there's no image here to help identify your group. Once you have found your group from the list, click on it to bring you to your group homepage. The items along the sides on both the left and the right, and sometimes in the top of the page, are likely to change from time to time, but will have no effect on your procedures. Your group information is located here at the top of the page, and also here along the middle. We have set up your group with 3 pages to get you started, and they are the Home page, Group Events page, and the Members page. You will only see the Members page when you are signed in. This is where you or any viewer would click to look at the various pages on your group. Notice that the home page is highlighted, and it shows the home page information here. If we click on Group Events, then Group Events is now highlighted, and the Group Events information is shown here. And, of course, this works for the Members page or any other pages that you may add to your group in the future. Let's go back to the home page. This is where you add a description of your organization to tell the viewers what your group is all about. Maybe some of the routine activities of your group dues, where you're located, phone numbers, contact names, etc. You may also want to place a photo or two here or your group's logo. The home page is not where you should post your specific upcoming events. Note that there is a line at the top of the home page that reads, "Click here for our group events page." Do not remove this. It is linked to your group events page. When you or any viewer clicks here, it goes directly to the group events page, and the group events page is where you put your upcoming events information. We'll talk about this later. So now we're on the group events page, and on the right side you'll see this Options button. When you click here, you'll see Feature, Edit Group, Manage Pages, and so on. Note that when we switch to another page on your group, the Option button is still in the same location with the same list of options. So, from any of the group's pages, you can click on the Options button and then click on Edit Group to change the content of your home page. Some of the items you can change are the name of your group here, the description of your group and any pictures here, and over here is where you can put an image like a photo or your logo to help viewers find your group. So let's change the name of the group from Cats1 to Cat Lovers. Simply click in here, type over this. Whenever you're done making changes on this page, you always want to make sure that you click on Update. And here you can see that we have changed the group's name to Cat Lovers. Now let's go back to the Options button and again click on Edit Group. And now let's add a picture to the group image here. You'll want to use a picture that is about 2 inches by 2 inches with a resolution of 72. Most important is that the picture is square so that it fits properly in its square space without getting parts of it clipped off. You can either drag and drop your picture here or click in the square and then go to the location where you're keeping the photo that you want to place there. Click on the picture of your choice, like maybe a photo of the president of your club. And now you can see the photo has loaded in this location. Be sure that this box, Show Group Image in Header, is checked off. Otherwise, it will not show in the header. Don't forget, you must click on the Update button to save your changes. And now we can see our changes. And here's our face. Let's go back to the Options button, Edit Group, and let's make a few more changes. Maybe we've decided we don't want this picture here for the group image, so we're going to click on Remove Image, and it is gone. So let's click here and add a cat picture. And there's your new group image. If we were done making changes to this page, we would then click on Update, but we're going to make a few more changes first. This area here is where you'd make changes to the main content of your home page. Notice that we have a line of tools at the top of this section. Because this is a basic course, we're going to look only at the tools that you'll need to change the text or images. You'll find that the features used to change and move things around in this box work in a similar manner as most word processing programs that you may already be used to. For example, you would use your Command or Control key and C to copy items, and you would use your Command or Control key and V to paste an item. That's typical what's in the Word programs that you're probably using already. Drag your cursor across some type, and we're going to be looking at these 4 boxes up here where you can click on one of these to change the style of the type. If we click here, we'll make the type bold. Notice that each time we click here, the type goes from bold to plain to bold again. We can also do combinations of styles, such as this here, and of course you can individually undo any particular style you want. You can write over the highlighted text, or you can delete it. If you need to insert new words, simply place your cursor where you need to add those words and just start typing. I'm going to replace this text with some new group information that I had copied earlier from another document. So let's delete this information. Text that you have copied from one of your other documents can be pasted directly into this block, but this may cause problems depending on the type of documents that you copied from. So let's delete this. To avoid potential text problems, first place your cursor where you want it to be in the block, and then click on the T button located at the top left side of the block. Now you'll see the Insert Plain Text screen, and you will paste your new text here, and then click OK. And here you can see where your new text was added to your home page. Place your cursor anywhere along a line of type, and by clicking on one of these 3 buttons, you can change the type to be left justified, right justified, or centered. Whenever one line or paragraph is separate from another, you'll see an additional space between the lines, and you can align these separately from the other ones around it. Okay, we're going to make this center, this one here centered, and these up here, this paragraph here, we're going to make that left justified. Let's go ahead and click on the Update button and take a look at what we've changed on the home page so far. Here you can see the cat picture that we changed this to, and here we can see that we've changed the content and centered the last 2 lines of the group description. Let's go back to the Options button and Edit Group, and let's add a photo or 2 to your group description that will show up on your group homepage. First, place your cursor in the location that you want to place your photo. You might want to make some space here with a return character so you can put your picture between these 2 lines here. Then we're going to click on what is called the Image button, and then we will get this Add Image screen. And here you'll have 2 choices to get your image from a URL or get the image from your computer. Most people will be choosing a file from their computer, so it's a good idea to know the name of the file that you're going to be using and where it is located on your computer. Now click the Choose File button and click on the image of your choice. You should use a JPEG image like the ones that are normally stored on your camera or smartphone. You'll get a good result with an image of about 6 or 7 inches in width and a resolution of about 72. But you can use a narrow one like the image we're going to start out with here. You can change the layout of the image to be either moved to the left, the center, the right, or take up the full position. For now, let's make it centered. Note that the width of the image is 288 pixels, which would be an image 4 inches wide with a resolution of 72. Click on the OK button, and then we can see our image we've placed here. Notice it's centered. Note that these changes will not be complete until you click the Update button, but we're going to make a few more changes before we do that. We're still in the Edit Group mode, so let's click on the image, and you'll see that it's highlighted and an Edit or delete button shows up here. Note that if you move your cursor off of the image, the edit or delete button will disappear. Just click on the image again and the button will come back up. Let's edit this and change the image from being centered to being on the left side with the type filling in on the remaining space on the right. Hit the OK button and end up with a new layout, which you can see here. If we had clicked on the right option, then the type would be to the left of the image. If you prefer the image lean to the left without type being on either side of it, you would choose the full option, which ends up looking like this. Just a reminder, we're still in the edit group mode because we have not yet saved the changes by clicking the update button. Now let's click on the image so you can see that you can delete this image by either hitting the delete key here on your delete button or simply hitting the delete key on your keyboard. Now let's put a couple of other images in so we can see how to manipulate them among the content of the homepage description. Put your cursor where you want your first image to be and then click on the image button located up here. Choose a file from your computer and then choose the full option for the layout. The 504 pixels width of this image is from an image 7 inches wide with a resolution of 72. Click OK here and we see the new image. Let's add a second image by clicking here and then clicking on the image button. Choose a file. Let's click this image here. Notice that it is in the layout of full. It is a 504 pixels image and we're going to hit OK. And here we can see we've added our second image here in between some of the type that was already in the description. To move these objects around, just click on the image and remain clicked on it as you drag it to another location. Let's say, for example, we want to put it right here. And there it is. No matter where you grab the image from, the image will drop at the point at which you've placed your cursor. For example, notice we've had it in front of the sentence up here, and that pushes that sentence down to here. Sometimes it's easier if you make a space between lines before you decide to move photos. It just makes it easier to put them in their place. All right, so maybe we should move this sample one. Let's assume that that is actually supposed to be the first photograph, and this piece should be down here because it's the second image. And let's take this type here. We can cut it from there, and we can put it in front of this here. And maybe we don't want the space here. And this is now left, so let's make that centered. Okay, so we've reorganized our images the way we want them, everything centered the way it should be. So let's go ahead and assume we're done with this page, and we're going to click on Update to save it. And here we have all of the changes that we've made to our group so far. The group name, the group image, and of course the description with the couple of different images that we've placed in there. Okay, that takes care of the basics for the home page. Now let's learn how to update the group events page. Again, from any group page, whether it's the group events or the home page, we're going to click on the options button, but this time we're going to click on Manage Pages, which will bring up the custom page settings screen. Notice on the left here that we have the option to look at these 3 different pages, and as we look at each page, you'll notice that this highlights here, and of course the information pertaining to it changes over here. For the purposes of this basic course, you should only be working with one option, and that would be the group events. You should not be making any changes to the information shown here, except this one item, group events. Click here on group events, and the content settings screen will show up. You do not want to change this information here. This area here is the only place where you'll be making changes to your group events information. Except for few less options, same set of tools are at the top of this box as in the box where you make your changes to your home page, and the procedures for using these tools are also the same. For example, you can make the type bold, italic, or underline, and of course undo any one individually. You can write new words over the top of highlighted other words, or you can simply delete words, or as in this case, we're going to delete all of this because it's going to be replaced with some new type. I've already copied some type from another document. Now you can paste directly into this document. And here we have our new information about some different events that we're going to be having. Now let's place an image here from our computer files. Choose a file. Let's click on this fella here. Keep the layout at full, and we'll just hit OK, and there of course is your image. And of course we can take the images and drag them to different locations within the box here. Once you have completed making your changes here, be sure to always click on the Update button here and then the Save button here. You'll then see this message here that says your page was successfully updated. Then we're going to click on the View over here, and here we can see the changes that we've made to our Group Events page. One last thing about making changes to the content of these pages. Let's go back to the Options button, and we're going to go back to the Edit Group button. Spread this out a little here. And let's move some of the stuff around here so that we kind of make a little mess of things just to illustrate what we're going to be talking about here. If at any time you make a mistake and mess things up to the point where you just don't know how to fix them, go down to the bottom of the page and click on Cancel. This will bring you back to where you started before you made the mistakes. Now let's take a look at what the viewer might see who's just looking around through the Groups section. First, they would click on the Groups tab, and then they'd be on the page where the list of groups are. As they look through the list, seeing the group image here may entice them to look more so than just the name as it is here. The viewer would click on the group, and up comes the group's homepage where they can read the group's information and find out what they're all about. Notice that the group's image also shows up in here. If the viewer wants to know what's going on as far as events for your group, they could either click on the group's events and come to your group events page, or from the home page, they could also click here, and that will also bring them directly to the group events page, where of course you would have your information about your latest upcoming events. Don't forget, you or anyone can go directly to your group by using your group web address that we assigned you earlier. Your group address is open to the public like any other website. You can use your group address as your own website address and include it in any other advertising, your own newsletter, your emails, your Facebook page, or anywhere else. That concludes this training video.